What is going on, folks? I have kind of a fun little topic to discuss today. We're going to start off here in my favorite little spot. If you know the area, you can probably pretty well recognize it from that there. I don't know what's going on over there, but there's things going on. Check out the new gloves. I don't know if I've showed these off yet. They got the pinky hole attached thing there, gauntlet gloves. You know, they're Alpine Stars. They're fancy. They're snazzy. Also, I don't know if you're going to be able to see there. Maybe if you kind of like look in the mirror, if I can do that. Let's see if I go back here. I got a new jacket. I got one of the Alpine Stars, I don't know, their naming sucks. It's like long, it's vented, it's yada yada yada, but it's like the newer one. Breathes really fantastically going down the road. I absolutely love it. It's a lot comfier than my other jacket. I will keep the other one though for the colder months. But we're not here to talk about gear, even though it's pretty damn cool. We're here to talk about a motorcycle company that I don't know if you've heard of. You might have heard of it. May have heard of it. You might not know what they have going on though, because it's relatively new. I recently discovered all this through social media. The thing that's going to ruin everybody is also bringing us all together. So that's kind of cool. I am talking about Buell Motorcycles. Feels good out, but it's too hot to go this slow. Anyway, let's discuss today's topic. That is Buell Motorcycles. I know the guys that made the Buell Blast from way back in the day. Come to find out, they actually have quite a big heritage when it comes to racing. And no, before you change it, we're not talking about the Buell that was owned by Harley, because that is a no more. I discovered no more is Buell owned and operated under Harley. I don't know exactly how that worked. The guy explained it to me a little bit, but I have the memory of a goldfish. I just remember the cool stuff, and that was what I'm going to share with you guys today. Oh, son of a bitch. We got a red light. I probably could have ran that. That's fine. We'll take the opportunity to discuss. We can also try and that's kind of a cool little Sportster, I think is what it is. 883. I don't know cruisers very well. But speaking of cruisers, let's talk about Buell's new Super Cruiser that they're working on releasing. I actually would like to discuss all the different models, but I want to talk about their Super Cruiser because that bike is incredible. So let's kind of talk about that Super Cruiser. It is a 185 horsepower cruiser, which blows my mind. I could not imagine what it feels like to ride this thing, and it want to just rip you off of that thing. I sat on one. Holy cow, it is incredibly comfortable. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I want to talk about Buell a little bit more. I just recently learned, due to social media, like I said, Buell is located within an hour of where I live here in Michigan. Incredible. I didn't know that. I had no idea. Been watching videos on their Hammerhead 1190 and was like, man, that thing's pretty cool. They make them. They're handmade an hour away from where I live. So what did I do? I simply went over and I toured them. They were very kindly gentleman there. His name was Cole. Gave me a tour of the whole facility. Kind of gave me like the rundown of what their history was. The whole process of them going through and being like bought out by Harley, or Harley owned like 49% of their shares. They were kind of built under Harley using their motors, yada yada yada. I don't know. I want to talk about the new stuff. I believe it was in 2019 they went under new ownership by, well, frankly, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry to the owner of Buell, I don't remember your name. I'll look it up. I'll insert it right here. Owner of Buell currently. And they have developed this 1190 75 degree V-twin that makes, I think in the super bike, it's like 200 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque, which is insane. Insane. I got to see those hammerheads in person, and actually, they, as of filming today, we're the day before the 4th of July, yesterday they revealed this new paint scheme on their hammerhead, and I may have been the first non-worker civilian to see it in person. Absolutely beautiful. Tribute to the American flag. Gorgeous, gorgeous bike. What are we doing? Why? I shouldn't went this way. I should not have went this way. Anyway, back to talking about Buell. So I discovered, like I said, that they are located just over in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I rode over there today on my day off and walked up to the door and asked if I could get a tour of the facility, and the gentleman named Cole was so kindly to show me all around the entire place. I got to see kind of the process. They appear to be sort of in like a startup phase. I think they're like under 50 employees right now. Everything is hand built, everything is developed right there in their little warehouse facility that they have going on. It is such a cool vibe in there. It really feels just like, I'm gonna go left. I'm not waiting in this. I don't want to follow this line of traffic all the way south. But no, the vibes of this place were pristine. You could tell this is a company that is gonna go somewhere. The Super Cruiser that they developed, he kind of showed me the whole process on that. They reached out to, I believe it was a designer, and they just went ahead and gave it their best shot. Kind of like they said, hey, here's a motor. We want you to build a cruiser around this. And this designer guy, I guess, made like a pretty rough prototype, but a functioning motorcycle, very cool. And you could see, he showed me the phases that they went through of development. So like they had that bike, the next one that they kind of reverse engineered off of, and then now after 4 or 5 of those, they're on to a final production model, and they are looking to go into production this fall actually. And boy oh boy, he told me the process of how they went through this, it was mind-blowing. It blew them out of the water. They released kind of the concept pre-production bike and was like, you know, they're like, hey, we'll take pre-orders on this if anybody wants one. To their surprise, not just 100 or so units sold, they sold thousands. People love this bike. I can see why after seeing it. I'm not a cruiser guy, but I said, wow, that bike is awesome. It's such a like crisp, fine line between sport bike and cruiser. They did such an incredible job. This is like such a well-refined machine that Harley wishes they could build, but they never can. They'll never get their Sportster to this level. It's okay, Harley, you can stick to your t-shirt sales. That's video for another day. I have no idea how that company stays in business with as little units as they're selling. I 100% think it's just afloat because of t-shirt sales. But our little friends over there at Buell are not afloat because of t-shirt sales. They're afloat because they're willing to push the boundaries and the limits of what 2 wheels can do. Speaking of that, it's time to talk about another model bike that they're working on. And this is the one that caught my attention the most. Other than the Hammerhead, I really, really want a Hammerhead. We'll get into that. I want to talk about their 1190 Dune Cruiser, I believe is what it's called. And this thing is, well, hold on, let's back up, all right? So this thing, they took that 1190 motor out of that they developed, pretty much that was in the Hammerhead, and they shoved that in a freaking dirt bike. It's a motor, 2 wheels, and a set of handlebars. Hold on, good freaking luck. It is insane. Oh, it's so cool looking in person. I cannot believe that they developed that. And the first second I seen that bike online, I said to myself, all right, these guys are pushing the limits of what can be done. I want to go see this facility in person. I don't know what we got going on here, people. So that's what I did. The guy, as he was like walking me through, it was so cool seeing like the start to finish. And the way that they do bikes, the Super Cruiser is kind of different. That's going to be their first like big production bike they're going to do. All their other bikes, they kind of build them up to not like a rolling chassis, but they've got a whole motor in it, but none of the plastics, which actually is not plastic, it's all carbon fiber. Fun fact, Buell doesn't use plastic. All of their bikes are carbon fiber, which is incredible. They kind of get them all where, there's no body work on them, no paint, and they're just kind of ready to be sold, because these bikes are sold individually, like by person. Like
you can go on their website and just buy one. You don't got to go to a dealership. You go on there and then they hand build it to what you want. Incredible. I mean, it's different, but super cool to know that, hey, my bike was built for me. I ordered this and it's being built for me. You can have it shipped to your door, or you can go pick it up yourself right at their facility. But oh, what is this? What is this? Why is there? Okay, if you're gonna just keep on cruising down like that, I guess. All right. Okay. But yeah, all their bikes are handmade. Speaking of being handmade, there's something else. Not only is it kind of fascinating, and I'm kind of proud to have them in my state, these guys take pride in being American-made to the next level. Okay, the way he broke it down to me is they're trying in their very, very hardest to make sure everything is sourced in America, built in America as much as they possibly can. He told me they're switching over to Fox suspension because they're made here in the States, and Olin's is not. So I guess Fox isn't really normally on factory bikes. They're more so aftermarket, but they're going to be on factory Buells. I believe all of them in the near future. Maybe not near future. I don't know when. And that's another thing to be proud of. I mean, this company is really truly trying to be as American as they possibly can. Are you gonna stay there? All right, cool. So I don't know about you, but that means something to me. Them wanting and taking so much pride into their bike and their country. I gotta buy one. I've gotta buy one. I'm gonna start saving my pennies. I will have a Hammerhead. I say it right here. I would love nothing more than to be able to support a local company. And I mean, like everything, like their paint job, he told me, is a guy locally in Grand Rapids. He does all their paint. How cool is that? Locally sourced. Let's talk about the Hammerhead a little bit, because I know all you sport bike guys are going to go, that's just the V-twin, and it's not as technologically advanced as the R1 or the Ducati, and it costs just as much, because I'll be honest, they're like around 25 grand for a unit, which is a lot of freaking money. I paid $9 for this. 25 grand is a lot. However, if you live here in the States, you're supporting a American company, you're supporting American jobs. There's something to be said with that. Maybe there should be a tax break. I doubt it. There won't be any tariffs on it. But the way they went about developing that Hammerhead, before you argue that it doesn't have the technology, that was done with a purpose. That bike is a raw mechanical track machine. It does not care about your feelings. It makes 100 and some foot-pounds of torque that will rip you off of that bike. It makes its power through the mid-range. It's not like a 4-cylinder. I mean, it doesn't make it all at the top. You can't be lazy with that bike in the low end, because that bike will come around on you like nothing else. They built that motor to make as much power as they possibly could in it. And the guy told me that if you buy one, you can buy the race ECM as well as their race exhaust, which is for the track use only. For the track, you can't put it on the street, air quotes, and it's gonna turn the power up even more. So dare I say, I'm gonna guess maybe 200 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque. And a bike that weighs 419 pounds, and it being that it's a V-twin, that bike is narrow. It is not wide between your legs. You sit around it, you are locked in. It is a very well-balanced, nice-feeling machine. It's incredible. Incredible. Oh, is this it? This is it. this drive always sneaks up on me. Let's pull in here and see if we can go find some shade to hang out in. I'm pretty sure you stay on this road here and it'll take you all the way around to the island, if I remember right. It's been a couple years since I've been out here. Yeah, here's like the dam. Beautiful though, isn't it? Got some people over there on the beach. Not a whole lot. It's kind of the middle of the work day. Well, it's 4 o'clock, but you know. Look at the geese. The geese. Beep beep. This road is rough.
Oh, that breeze feels wonderful. The shade feels even better. So yeah, that was my experience there, going over and touring Buell. I just want to say a big shout out to Buell for pushing the limits, you know, believing in yourself. It was super cool. I cannot wait to see what more you guys come up with in the future. I really hope to see, you know, after the Super Cruiser, once you get that production going up, and maybe if we can get like a revision or like updates on the Hammerhead, because that bike is incredible. Like I said, I got to see the new paint scheme of their American flag like style bike. I forget, it's like their Patriot tribute or something like that. Absolutely gorgeous bike. I'll put a little picture of it right here. But no, it was such a cool place. I really look forward to keeping up with you guys and seeing what comes down the road. And maybe one day, just one day, we'll get to own a Hammerhead, and then we'll have, you know, the Daytona's big brother. I don't know what color I would get. I was kind of discussing that with a guy today. They have an option. I was kind of debating like as much as I would like the patriotic version, they only make like 10 of those a year, and I would feel terrible getting rock chips and beating up the fairings on that. So they kind of have a version that's well, I think really the options are endless, but they have a version that's like all carbon, and then where you could just do like the Buell lettering in like red and then some like, red accents. That way it would kind of match the Daytona. I thought that'd be kind of cool. Or maybe they had another one that was all red with like carbon accents. That was also cool. I like red. Really pops. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you to Buell for letting me tour your facility. It was an awesome time and I really enjoyed it. If you guys liked the video, like it, leave a comment. Any questions, concerns, I don't know, put them down below.